started growing a little bit for that technical difficulties to make sure these notifications go out. Give it a little quick second.
You can hear me good?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hear you way better now. I hear you way better. It was going in and out the last time. I was saying good stuff. It was going in and out. So, yeah, let's get right into it. Hopefully the people that jump back on that was here, they'll see the notifications. So, I don't mean to rewind you, but take us back to that introduction of who you
See,
are,
it's best
what you do.
it's best to introduce after I talk substance, because I'm this and I'm that doesn't sound good before what my message is more important. You know.
But yeah,
And
well, just some of your qualifications and
yes,
a
yes,
little quick background.
yeah. As far as my martial arts qualifications goes,
Mm-hmm.
I have 30 years experience in martial arts combined.
Okay.
That includes a lot of Muay Thai, from the traditional source to the runaway recluse styles of the Arab influenced South style of Islamic Muay Thai, and
Okay.
I've studied various other martial arts, including traditional Indian martial arts, which is the mother of all martial arts. And
Mm-hmm.
my martial art that I am familiar with predates Bodhidharma. Bodhidharma was
Mm.
fourth century. My family is 3,000 years old, and we have been supplying mercenaries throughout kingdoms in Asia for 2,000 years at least.
Wow.
So the Cambodian martial art, which is the mother art of Muay Thai, comes from my lineage, and I'm the great grandson of the last king of that kingdom.
Mm-hmm. Deep,
So
deep roots, deep roots. Well, you have with roots like that, we know we're gonna get something real good. We're gonna get some good jewels tonight. Well, before we were interrupted, you were talking about just a special part of the brain that
yes,
that you use. Please break
yeah.
that down.
You see, our spine is where our awakening is, and a connection to the source is through the spine.
Mm-hmm.
So when our spine is flexible and our mind is open, it creates much more of a vastness in our brain where we can look through beyond the superficial in everything, be it a punch, be it a dialogue, be it a reaction and facial expression, be it our own thoughts. We can really go into it rather than just see it superficially and just move on or dwell on it. That's what we do. Either we move on or we dwell on it, but we don't see through it. So the martial art that I teach and have within me through my DNA is the how to of martial arts, not the what to, you know,
Okay.
because
Okay. And the how to, as far as, and I like what you said about the DNA, because I don't think we really take into consideration what DNA means to martial arts and the body mechanics. Can you enlighten us on that?
yes, you see, our ancestors, be it 5,000, 10,000 years ago, are watching us right now as we speak. They were either blessing us or cursing us, because once we leave the body, we're in pure energy form. And
Okay.
these energies always trying to connect with the world here, you know. So in India, we have ceremonies, very personal ceremonies where, let's say, after you take a shower, you dedicate a certain amount of water from your arms and you say a prayer to your ancestors and throw it in the air. Their energy receives that. The same way, knowledge, if you ask for knowledge, you will get knowledge. But it's not the kind of knowledge that you and I refer to on a daily basis. It's a knowledge known as the light knowledge, the knowledge of light. It's transferred through silence and energy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll give you a day-to-day example of the proof. Like even now when I'm talking, people are reading the silence between my words just as much as they're reading my words.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay. Okay.
just
Okay.
like
And that is that, we hear a lot about the connection to our ancestors and
yeah.
what
So
they what,
once the
that
soul leaves the
connection is.
yeah, once the soul leaves the body, there is no 5 minutes or 50 years or 5,000 years. The
Yeah,
time
okay.
connection is
Time
only because
stops.
time stops when the body is no longer there. But when we're in energy form, we are beyond time, is what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So the
Okay.
same concept we apply for martial arts. So have you ever heard of an animal fighting like a human? No.
No.
But you've heard of humans fighting like animals, right?
Yes.
It's because we have one DNA of every animal that has ever lived within us, one DNA.
Deep.
So, yeah. So the minute you can tap into that one DNA and become a monkey, not act like a monkey, become a
Mhm.
monkey, then it's monkey kung fu. Or in ancient India, we have the deity Hanuman, which is symbolizes our energy flow. That's the monkey god, Hanuman.
Mhm.
Hanuman is the god of it's called Prana Sancharam. Prana Sancharam means the passage of your energy. So it is connected to your breath. So Hanuman, the god of bravery, is also the breath.
Okay.
So when you breathe differently, you think differently. So when bad things happen, breathe
Mm.
differently. That's why the Japanese always say, when bad things happen, just breathe differently and good things will start to happen.
Wow. That's wow. And even with the chi, the talk of chi and chi gun, it makes a big connection to that. That's amazing. Now, um,
Mm. The
how do we
only difference,
connect? How do we? Is there a special way? Is there a more direct way we can connect with our ancestors? Like, excuse me, like through
yes,
meditation, like
exactly.
besides just an accidental connection, like how can we connect purposely,
Yeah, deliberate.
deliberate?
Accidental is being conscious, understanding something after the fact is what that is. But
Mm-hmm.
deliberate is act, don't react.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Understand? Like, but if I want to initiate a conversation, I don't wait for you to say something where I can join in. I say, Mr. Burley, I would like you to know that I find your martial art very spiritual and very flowing with nature. As dangerous as it may be, it also reflects your personality, sir. Now, I
Yes.
can say it very directly, or I could kiss your ass and say it in a very, oh, like I want to get something out of you. But it's
Mm-hmm.
intention is more
Okay.
important. Sometimes intention is more important than karma. The action is not as important as the intention behind the action. Mostly in life,
Mm-hmm.
like
Well,
two
you just
people.
brought up something with karma, and is karma a force that's against you? Like
No,
over here,
karma,
we have
karma.
more of a karma as like it's against you.
No, that's all nonsense. Karma is just your action and the repercussions of your action. That's all karma means. Nothing
Mm.
more, nothing
So
more.
it's not an evil force seeking to do you out, to do you in.
The only person doing you all through your life has been you.
Wow, bombs, bombs.
It, and your karma, if there's a way to beat karma by being so much in the present. You can beat your own karma. You think everyone has paid for their sins and then gone? No, some people have gotten the realization of their sins, and that itself was punishment enough for them. If you really understand where you screwed up in life, that itself is punishment. A lot of people don't realize that because they really haven't gone deep into that wound that they've created for themselves.
Well, give me 1 second because somebody, Lord JMO, blessings in abundance. I see you. Thank you for that super chat. We have Eric who said, what would you say is the difference between karma versus fate versus destiny?
See, all these three things are very separate, but yet all the same. The reason I say that is karma is your action combined with your intention behind that action and the repercussions of your action. All that combined is a common usage in India called karma. It's a Sanskrit word for your karam. Karam means your action. Your karam means my karam is my action. So my karma is my action and the intention behind it. Like you could
Mm-hmm.
kill somebody for food, or you could kill someone for the heck of it. The action is the same, but the intention makes a whole world of difference behind it. So in
Yes.
life also, intention is more important than the action itself. So destiny is destiny. I mean, destiny is, you see, you have to understand that a lot of faiths believe in destiny and they believe in action. So you could always
Yes.
ask a logical question. If you believe in action, why do you believe in destiny? Or if you believe in destiny, why do any action? You could logically ask that. But
Yes.
what we forget is, as long as there's limitlessness and infinity, time doesn't exist the way we think it exists. In
Yes.
that aspect, space is ahead of time. As long as space is ahead of time, what you do will come back to you, whether it's good or bad. That itself,
Yes.
that's how you scientifically explain karma and destiny and all that. You create your own destiny, but yet you accept your destiny. Why? Because when you start fighting with life, you don't create anything besides chaos. When you go with life, you create your own destiny. So
Wow.
the Western attitude about life is a battle, life is a struggle. It's wrong. That's what creates depression and disappointment. Life is not a battle. You shouldn't see life as a war, because you will become full of war in your head, conflict.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
And,
So the
and
conflict of life is I mean the concept of life is a war
yeah,
only keeps you in a state of war and chaos in your mind. That's what you're saying.
because in a capitalistic country, it's important for people to stay like that. Otherwise, capitalism doesn't work. Capitalism cannot happen when people are content, because contentment is the truest wealth. There is no wealth.
Mm.
There is no wealth greater than contentment. Everybody knows it, but instead of trying to be content, they try to be more and more wealthy. You know, I'll tell you something. Wealth and knowledge are like pretty much the same. Knowledge is never enough. The more you get it, the more you want, right?
Yes.
Wealth is the same, but there's something beyond these two: contentment, m- consciousness, being in the moment. If you're completely conscious of your actions and do deliberate actions, you are in complete control of your karma, everything. You can manifest anything. But yet, we look for ideas outward. Outward is not the answer. You will be lost if you go outward, because it's limitless avenues and answers and questions. Your questions will never end. You want to reach a state of questionlessness. You want no questions
Mm.
arising. A plane of thought where there is no thought, beyond thought. So even if you're a dummy or a genius, your brain and thinking is not natural for you. Your consciousness, and to stay in your consciousness, is the most natural part for you. So the minute someone tells you, when you meditate, do this, take your brain here to the center, your booty hole, your head, it's wrong, because you're thinking, and thinking is not being in consciousness.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. And a lot of times we get these meditations. It's just like you said, bring your chi here, push it over there, send it back over there. So the state of doing that, you haven't even reached the level of thoughtlessness to be in your meditation.
Correct. You
Wow.
know,
So it's like a
so
non-starter.
yeah, so fighting is the same. If I can heal you, I can kill you.
Mm.
Think
A
about
doctor told me that one time. Yes, I heard that.
it. Well, he wasn't kidding. In modern times, he wasn't kidding.
I was reading a book on martial arts and I was in the hospital when the doctor looked down and he said, "Man, do you know if you learn how to heal, you learn how to kill?" And because the book was about killing, what I'm saying? And he was like, learn how to heal, and in that aspect, you learn how to kill, and probably more efficiently too, if it came down to that. But
If
you also spoke about Bodhidharma. Like, what was Bodhidharma's contribution to martial arts? Can you break that down to the people who may not know?
Bodhidharma was a Buddhist monk, when Buddhism was very young, it was about 900 years old at that time, Buddhism. And he was a South Indian prince from a state called Tamil Nadu, where they spoke Tamil, the oldest language in the world. And it was only in the fourth century. It was during the Buddhist times. What happens is, see, Buddhism is a very good way of life. It's a good thought process. It's a first atheist religion that still focuses on the light within you. But
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, the you aspect is not, the inquiry of who I am is not much there in Buddhism. So Bodhidharma's martial art was taught to him, it was not invoked. So what we do in India much before that, the Hindu arts, is you invoke the limitlessness inside you. So you're not about, I did 100 squats and I did this many push-ups and I did this many rounds. It's not about that. It's about keeping your body in a position and your mind in a state where you can do anything at any given time. And there's a lot of fight left in you. It's not like these days where there's no fight left when the fighter goes to the ring, because he's left all the fight in the gym. You
Mm-hmm.
know?
Yes, we heard that.
Yeah. So like even the concept of no pain, no gain, that's for people who don't plan on living very long. If you really think about it. If somebody wants to use their hands and legs and their neck and everything, wants they want it to work for 95 years, they won't train the way athletes train. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
Athletes train for 10 years of success and then nobody cares and they don't care. They haven't thought that far. That's the way athletes
That's
train.
right.
Now, is a majority of the people athletes? But
No.
the minute they want to do any physical activity, who do they copy? They copy athletes who train for 10 years of glory. So now you got the common man full of injuries. All he wants to do is try and get in shape, but he's full of injuries. Why?
Yes.
Because of HIIT, interval intensity. No, you only have so many bursts in your life to save your ass from evil, from danger. You
Mm-hmm.
don't finish all that up in the gym. You
Yeah.
know, it's like traditional karate. It's a very Japanese attitude to beat up your body before somebody else beats it up for you. You know,
Mm.
you
Yeah.
want
Yeah. Excellent.
you want these things to work for 100 years. You don't want it to be like that at 60 and say I used to break 10 boards with one punch and ice blocks and all that. No, you want this to work.
Yes. 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 Well, that kind of goes with some of the Chinese conditioning, sticking your hands in fire, kind of like ruining the temple for, like you said, which would may be a decade of glory because we know that even in boxing, boxers are old at 30 because of the training they've done all of those years getting ready for fights. By the time they come to the age of 30, their bodies are probably like 50 years old. Like they have to get out the game, or most of them have to get out the game. But boxers are considered old at 30 because of the hard work. So that definitely makes a whole lot of sense. Did Now from the stories I understand is did Bodhidharma, did he teach the monks kung fu to make them better for prayer? Like, where did that come from? Where did that story?
To be
That's the
honest,
story I heard, the origin of kung fu. But
to
break
be
it down
honest,
for us.
people may not like what I'm about to say, but
Okay.
you will understand what I'm saying. I'm sure you will understand. Do you think fighting only started in China in the 4th century?
No,
Thank you.
absolutely not.
So what he did was teach them meditation and self-inquiry because of his Hindu. See, no matter how Buddhist you get in India, you're still a Hindu because Buddha himself was a Hindu. The only thing was, in Buddhism, there is no inquiry about the self. It's about the things around the self. Like, don't do this because desire will create sadness. Desire for whom? Whose desire? There's no inquiry about that. Whose desire? My desire. So, who am I? That question is not talked about much in Buddhism. And it's very important to talk about that to become a good warrior. Who you are, that the more you understand who you are, the more you go towards limitlessness. If you're only talking about rules and what's life is disappointment and this really dealing with reality, um, in Buddhism, the pleasures of the flesh are not allowed. Then why is Bangkok if it's a Buddhist country? You know. So these aren't things that you can really keep up. So it should. Buddhism really isn't a religion. It is a concept of lighting the lamp within you. Lighting that lamp within you. It's all good in concept, but who are you? Who am I? The inquiry of the real you. It's not there. It's about the things around you. The inquiry about the things around you. How to shun it. How to, walk away from this, from that. We can't apply it. But yet, if you understand Buddhist concept, you can be a better person. Yeah. But if the inquiry yourself is not there, it's all a waste. It's all a waste. In the end, if you don't understand who you are, Islam is a waste, your Hinduism is a waste, it's all a waste. If
Yes.
if the inquiry doesn't end in you are, it's useless.
So what is the connection between prayer and martial arts? What would you say is the connection between those two?
See, the definition of prayer is not begging, first of all.
Ah, wow. Say it again. It's not begging. Say that again. They ain't hear you.
Prayer, when people think of prayer, they think, God, I want this, I want this. No, that's not praying. Praying is not that. That's begging.
You're just a beggar.
That's not just begging. That's the worst form of begging, because you are separating God from yourself and then asking it for something when God is inside you. The very divine power is inside you. So what are you looking up in the sky and begging for?
Wow. Wow. So they said, why jump in the phone booth when you are the phone? You are the connection. Why go in the phone booth when you are the phone? I believe in that. I believe in that deeply. But please continue. So the connection between prayer and martial arts is one because it's all you.
You are in the driver's seat, not somebody else driving and you asking them, please take a lift, please make a right. No. You are the driver. The car is you. The direction is you. Everything is you. There is no other person. It's like, see, that expression, we. There is no that man. It's we. We are all connected. And why do they say that? Well, logically, is it a logical statement that we're connected? No. But if you're on the ground floor and if your house is on fire and if I live on the top floor, who's the bigger idiot?
Yes.
You understand? We are connected. Of course, we're connected. And as long as there's infinity, 1 in 1 million and 1 billion, there's no difference. Think about it. Right? So for the universe, $1 and $1 billion means nothing. 1 minute and 1 million minutes means nothing to the universe. Right?
Yeah.
So when you help one person, you help all of humanity. When you destroy one person, you destroy all of humanity, right? You begin the cycle, right? That's where that comes from. So everything is connected. So now let's connect the martial arts, okay? Now, when you throw a punch towards me, it's not just a fist I'm looking at. I'm looking at an entirety of an object in all its form coming towards me in its angle, right? I'm not just looking at the end of this fist. So the more I can see of you coming towards me, the more of me I can move in an adaptive way towards you, right? Or against you, or away from
Yes.
you. But if I only look at that one fist and that one knuckle coming, I'm not going to see that foot coming up my nutsack. The same as life. The same as life.
Wow,
right?
that was deep how you connected it to the martial art and the fist. That is so true. If you're stuck on the fist, you don't see what else is happening. So it's not, you're not looking at a fist coming. This is an energetic,
Exactly. But at the same time, there will come a time where you will see nothing but the fist for a split second. That's all the attention it requires, and that's all the attention you must give.
Wow. Wow. So too much attention, and and then you're led astray. You can be susceptible to feints and stuff like that. Keeping it on the martial side instead.
Yeah. So how do we know that this much is the perfect time to look at that, and then I got to look back here, or just forget what happens to it after here? Keep focusing forward. Who teaches us that? We know it by instinct, right? So wouldn't it be great if we could find a way to develop those instincts rather than shadowboxing limitlessly for the rest of our life? That's what I teach.
Yes.
That's what I
so and we know that India has one of the oldest martial art. What is the name of it? That's practiced in India.
The oldest martial art is Kalaripayat. 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 Kalari means place of practice and Payat means fight. Okay, so Pilot is from it's a Tamil word. Tamil is the oldest language in the world, older than Sanskrit, and it's a South Indian language. That's what Bodhidharma spoke, and my language comes from a mix of Tamil and Sanskrit, which makes mine the hardest language in India to learn.
Wow. Good luck with that.
Yeah, so
wow.
because I speak my language, I understand Tamil and Sanskrit. So I'm also the bodyguard of one of the highest priests in India in the Shiva Sampradaya, in the Shiva pantheon. So
and is this the art taught to the soldiers? Like, is that art taught to soldiers and the warriors?
no, this is not a generic art. This is a very
break it down, please. Thank you.
Yeah, this goes beyond some soldier stuff and combat ready for 5,000 people, one capsule for 5,000 people. No, sorry, that's not this. This is a martial art of the yogis. You have to do yoga to completely be in the moment, because you have to understand that man's biggest problem is he cannot sit in one place quietly.
Yes.
Right? Most of his problems comes from that. He cannot shut off and sit quietly. When he can, you have known through time that people can do wonders when they can just shut up and sit. Everything starts from being able to shut up and sit. If you can't do that with your mind, you cannot focus when there's an attack coming at you. No.
That's right.
Why do you think in the 70s and 60s, before karate class, they used to make us sit down and close your eyes and sit so you get focused? Now you go to an MMA gym, they walk in, they're wrapping their hands, turning their necks, talking, checking their phone. It's all a mess.
Yes.
And what happens to them after they leave the gym and go home? They beat up their wife, they beat up their girlfriends, they do drugs, they do this and that and all that. Why? Because the martial arts is not getting them anywhere. It's just relieving their stress. So they get addicted to punching something to relieve their stress. In Asia, you don't go to a gym because you're a psychopath or you want to kill someone, so you rather punch the bag. That's not at all the storyline there.
Wow.
It's not therapy. Martial arts is not therapy. Martial arts is to make you not want to have to go to therapy or not need therapy. You're always in a good you should always be in a good frame of mind. You know, not that's the stupidest thing I've seen. You're supposed to center yourself so you see things clearly. You're not supposed to be mad. You're supposed to be in control of your emotions. Why would you hit your fighter in the back of his face and slap him and this and that? And you're intentionally shaking the water so you cannot see the bottom of the lake. The whole point is to still the water so you can see the bottom of the lake.
Whoa,
why would you
press
shake
one
the
for
water?
that one. That still the waters so you can see the bottom of the lake. People, I know we ain't got a lot of people in the chat, but I appreciate everybody that's here. I gotta say that again. Still the waters so you can see the bottom of the lake. Please continue. That was deep. They gotta hear that. Go on.
It's important in a fight. It's important. This is the lake. You're the bottom of the lake. If I'm distracted here, I can't see you in your entirety. If I can't see you in your entirety, I'm susceptible to one of your fakes, or if I can see you completely from conception, from your energy stage to your human form, and completely see you in that vastness, I can play with you like a little child. But if I'm intimidated by you, and I'm, wow, this is Burly. Oh, 50. Oh, I think he's going to use Wing Chun on my ass right now. Oh no, I seen him kick too. Oh shit. I'm already thinking external. I'm not even within me. I'm thinking outside. There's no answers outside from this. No refuge outside. The only refuge is inside.
Well, the connection of mind, body, spirit, we hear that a lot in Chinese Kung Fu. What's your take on that? The Trinity, mind, body, spirit, and how they connect.
Mind, body, spirit, if you see it as three, it will never be one. You should see it as one. How you see it is how you will feel it. If you see it differently, you'll feel it differently. And if you feel all three differently, you will never be one with it.
So it's not about seeing them on three different levels. It's about seeing them as the one, which it is the one. It is the one, you know. But we break it down into these levels to understand, you know. I always thought like mind for strategy, body for conditioning, and your spirit was your cause. Like,
Okay.
you know, it's you.
So let me ask you something. Where is your mind?
It's not in the. It's everything. It's the universe.
Can you show me your mind? If your did you?
No,
Yes, but can you show me your soul?
no,
But you can show me your body, right?
yes.
Okay, so the mind and the soul and the body are one, because the mind is where you want it to be. And if you look where it's coming from, a thought is coming from, you'll see the thought will run away from yourself,
Mhm.
right? So the mind doesn't
Yeah.
exist. The mind is an illusion. Only experiences exist.
Wow. Wow. See, and
So
this is, hold on, the smoker section. Salute. Yeah, this is real information going on. We got the guru in here, man. We're talking about, you know, you. You know, that's one thing I've always referred to martial arts is it's you. It's never the art, it's the man. And that is the centerpiece of this conversation. That we got a guru. His family dates back 3,000 years plus. I'm going to India, so don't be surprised when you see me in India with my partner right here. You know, don't be surprised when you see 52 blocks goes to India. Yeah. There we go. 52 blocks goes to India. Y'all see it? Y'all see the networking happening? And you know, he reached out to me, and we're working on some things, and we wanted to start this podcast to introduce him to the people for, you know, not just enlightenment, but spiritual correction. Because, like he's saying, a lot of things that we think about, no pain, no gain. These are the things that keep the turmoil swirling and don't still the waters. We want to still the water so we see the bottom of the lake. Hold on. Eric said, can you also discuss the relationship between breathing, mind, and posture in your teachings?
okay, that's a good point. That's very important. That's very important. See, the passage of your energy and your posture is connected. If your energy is supposed to go like this and you're like that, of course it's gonna affect you. And also, these posture analysis people, they talk about military posture, this posture, the different types of posture and posture correction. Your posture comes from the way you feel. So when you correct the way you feel, your breathing is the only way you can correct the way you feel. When you breathe differently, you'll feel differently. And when you feel differently, you'll stand differently. You'll sleep differently. You'll carry yourself.
Okay.
Posture is how you carry yourself. And how do we carry ourselves? Based on how we feel, right?
Yes.
And look at
Yes.
how look at how the Western community fixes posture by selling a harness at CVS.
It's like putting a band-aid on the bullet wound, huh?
Yeah, and it sells. Hey, I thought about buying it. But think about it. Think about it. How you feel is how you will stand. And how you stand is how your posture will become. And how long you feel a certain way determines how you get molded that way.
Wow. 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 Hold on. Mars Burly. Yes, sir. We got the guru right here. If you have any questions, we got him right now. We got him for this moment. We deliberately are in this moment with the guru. So if you have questions about how you're feeling, how to change it, did you see how he just broke down posture? That was incredible. So I don't want to be the only one just snapping up the information with questions. If you got questions, come on and shoot them right now, because we in the moment. We're in the moment right now. So getting back to the oldest
Martial
martial
art.
art, how was it created? Like what was the
You
what
see,
were the mind state of the people that created this?
Shiva is Formless, right? Shiva is one of the main gods in Hinduism. So
Okay.
when Shiva is attributed for being the highest level, that means it's pure man's consciousness and instinct is what they mean by that. When there is no
Mm.
founder, it means it's man's oldest primal instinct. That organized became clarified. Do you understand? So if you can
Okay.
move a certain way, you can do so many things. All you need is intention. You don't need to do individually do those things. Like one drill, like if I do a drill like this 50 times, I have spinal, shoulder mobility, neck mobility, all that. Now with this, I can duck a punch, do some, headbutt someone just with that flexibility without having to practice those moves individually, headbutting and all that. Just with that mobility, I have that ability. All I need is
Mm.
intention. All I need is intention. I don't need to wear my body out doing 500 elbows every day. I don't need to do that 500 elbows or 10,000 kicks like Bruce Lee said. You understand?
Oh.
What people don't understand was Bruce Lee was a very angry 32-year-old and when he died. And when he lived, he
Uh-oh.
was and when he lived also, he was a very angry individual who was trying to prove a point to white folk and trying to make something out of himself. Do you understand?
Boy, it's getting controversial now. Oh, there's a lot of Bruce Lee lovers
And,
out there, but talk your
and let
talk.
me
Keep it
and
going.
let me tell you, and I'll tell you one more thing. JKD is Jiddu Krishnamurti Do. Jiddu Krishnamurti was an Indian philosopher and Bruce Lee's alter ego. Do you know that?
No, I did not know that.
Yeah.
I'm
So
learning right now.
yeah, Jeet Kune Do happens to be the same initials. JKD happens to be the same initials as Jiddu Krishnamurti. Okay. Now, Jiddu Krishnamurti talks just like Bruce Lee. No, Bruce Lee talks just like Jiddu Krishnamurti. Bruce Lee was a philosophy major in university. Okay, he was talking just like what I'm saying, but only thing is he read it. I know this from my DNA, and I know this from living a little longer than Bruce Lee so far,
Yes.
and not as pissed off, but not nowhere near the cocaine that he's done. Do you understand? So you have to understand, Bruce Lee's brain was like Shakespearean. You know, when Shakespeare and them first got coffee in England, before coffee went to England, the English didn't write or anything. Do you know that? The River Thames was so polluted they couldn't even drink water. All they did was drink beer. Till coffee arrived from Yemen via Ethiopia. And then when the coffee houses of England started, that's when the Keats and the Yeats and all of them started writing shit.
Wow.
If there was no
Deep.
coffee, if there was no coffee in England, there would be no literal arts, literal, pricks
Well,
writing
thanks
shit.
for. We got to thank Yemen for this coffee right here. We got to thank. Do we thank you? We are so
Yeah,
thankful for the
yeah.
coffee. Please continue.
So everything is cause and effect. Even martial arts, it got the Japanese are now making animation and video games. What happened to the freaking samurais? You
Yes.
know, you got Thais who are more interested in becoming lady boys than Muay Thai now.
Well, Mars Burley, he says, I've studied Bruce Lee and you're correct. But would you say Bruce Lee fans are religious about him or see him in a religious way?
I think they made very good movies back then. I'll just leave it at that.
Yes.
And you know how when you teach kids, when you talk to kids and you talk about fairy tales and you know their mind grows. Do you understand? The mind grows. Now when you talk to kids, you talk to them about your overtime or your ex-wife or your stepchild, their mind won't grow with that. Their mind gets smaller and smaller, so they will never be limitless. Bruce Lee's movies showed the limitlessness of a man. Doesn't mean he would fight like that. He doesn't. I'm not saying everyone has to fight and prove it to us for us to believe. We don't need to live up to anyone's expectations, and they don't need to live up to ours. That's the honest truth. But Bruce Lee was an angry cocaine addict, and he grabbed my friend's wife's ass in
Whoa.
California in the '60s in his own house, in my friend's house. Yeah, my friend Richard Nunes, Lima Lama Kung Fu guy. He was a rich man. He invited Bruce Lee to the house. Bruce Lee grabbed his wife's ass. That's not. That's not. That's not Lao Tzu. That's not Lao Tzu. That's not. That's not written in the I Ching. Come
No.
on. He was an angry cocaine head who used Asian philosophy towards the white man who was completely spiritually bankrupt. So he fell for it. And he threw a few kicks and punches and attached the concept with his fighting, which was already there thousands of years before Bruce Lee was even an idea for his parents. Do you understand that? Like,
Yes, I'm
you
floored
know,
by this information. Like you're breaking down some walls. Like
yeah,
you're breaking down walls. Like,
that water can be like water, be like water. Bruce Lee didn't say that. The first person to say that was not Bruce Lee. That's been around for years. It's a concept. Lao Tzu's talked about it. So many philosophers talk about being like in India. We talk about the elements all the time. We have so many philosophies based on the five elements. It's not a big deal. It's not Bruce Lee be like water, my friend. They just
hold
market
on
it.
1 second, please. Hold on 1 second. Hello. Here you go. Yeah. What's up? I'm doing live right now. You call me right after. I did. No, I don't know you. I definitely ain't get no call. But let me finish this live real quick. Excuse me, my people. Excuse me, my people. I don't mean to shut this live down. I had to talk to the lady. All right. Eric says, can you talk about the different types of chi and teachings on how to develop better or stronger chi?
There's no different types of chi, first of all. There's only one type of chi, and it's the one you're aware of.
Okay.
If you're not aware of it, it doesn't exist for you.
Okay.
Okay? And try to see everything as one.
Mhm.
Because if you're in one moment, completely in the present, multiple things don't exist for you besides your consciousness.
Okay.
Only your
Yep.
consciousness, only your consciousness exists. And to be honest, this God and devil and the left side is the bad, all that is nonsense. It's only higher consciousness and lower consciousness. When you
Wow.
when you go to lower consciousness, that's where you meet all these so-called devils and this and goblins and all that. It's your own thoughts. When you go to higher consciousness, you're away from all that and you're in pure consciousness, nothing but that. That's it. The more you go into this mambo jumbo, you get lost. And that's what they want you to do. They want it to be a pursuit of knowledge. It's not a pursuit of knowledge. It's a pursuit of being one with your consciousness and nothing but that. Don't look at it like a Q&A thing because the more I answer, the more questions will come. Like I said, the key is to ask me the one question that's most important. How do I become questionless?
Wow. Well, I'm going to ask you that question. How do I become questionless?
And now for the commercial release of my program. Well, I teach this. Okay, it's not a formula like a math formula or anything like that.
Yes.
It comes through you have to have a relationship with a guru. You have to know a guru. If you don't have a teacher, there will always be ego in your knowledge. A guru purifies your knowledge and makes it egoless. That's why a sensei or a sifu or master or whatever, there was an effect a master had. It wasn't just YouTubing back in the day and mimicking and no. That energy transfer, that silence that happens in silence, you can't do that online. Silence is golden. Silence is where the most amount of energy is transferred from a guru. The highest level of advice is transferred through silence. Yes.
Sorry about that technical difficulty. I had to try to raise up this for the question. Oh man, I got to get a
So,
better stand. All right,
so
he said, do you think there is a corporate interest to weaken men in the Western world?
not just the Western world, all over the world.
Wow.
And it began with the beginning of institutionalized religion, to be honest. To separate God from man was the first crime they did to make him weak. You know?
That makes a lot of sense. So that's what you talk about, praying upwards, looking up in the sky, asking why. Begging to the skies. So we don't need to talk to the skies. We just need to communicate with our inner God, our inner self.
See, it's a connection. There's no such thing as bad connection or good connection. A connection is a connection. The ancient Africans used to order the gods, command the gods. And
Wow.
you don't think their commands were answered? They would order the gods. They would order the elements. They would order the sky. They would look up the skies and order it. It's as long as you have a powerful connection. It doesn't mean a submissive connection or this connection or that connection. A connection. That's all that matters. But the one connection that can be controlled and used against man was institutionalized religion, where the middleman controls your connection, not you. So the number one enemy of all institutionalized religion was Hinduism, because it made man super god. It made man God.
Wow.
So we were called pagans. Our religion was named. It was called. They named it Hinduism. There's, there's no word called Hinduism.
There's no word so that was.
There's no such thing as Hinduism. It's not an ism. It's been around for thousands of years. It's just the way people live in India. The North and South didn't have the same rituals and all that. But you have to understand that rituals, they're not what matters. It's the emotion behind the ritual that matters.
Yes. I see a lot of African rituals when they're doing the dance. They almost look possessed. It's almost like they go into this state of where they're not even. I would say they're not even dancing on Earth anymore. Like they have gone somewhere else. So is that what you're talking about?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. So in my martial arts also, it will be. I will show you. I'm trying to think how we can. By the way, the martial arts I teach is from a time period where man was completely into his consciousness, where his body didn't matter to him. So the opponent's body also did not matter. So it's very like, in the eye, biting, head-butting, sticking the elbow in the eye socket, stuff like that. So that requires a lot of shoulder mobility,
Yes. Yes.
So things like that.
Whoa, that was fast there. Do that again. There was a race for that one. Can we see that one again? That was too fast.
So
slow the camera down.
See, culturally, this is a submissive way of standing in India. Nobody stands like this before they whoop ass, right? Just look like someone's gonna whoop your ass, someone's like that. Now, from here, from the most submissive point, I can deliver the most devastating attack. So, see, what I did is, this is not human stuff. This is Garuda. Garuda is the king of the birds. So this is my wing. This is not my elbow. The reason you are seeing it as fast is because you're seeing a human do a human thing. Whereas I'm not human when I do that. I'm the king of the bird, Garuda. You understand?
Yes.
I'll show you. Watch. Then you'll see my outfit and you'll laugh. So I'm not going to stand up. Hold on. Watch this. In slow motion. See that? Now when I do it fast, see?
Yes.
It's like a spear. Yes. And from here it continues on. With all sorts of attacks.
Wow. I see a lot of resemblance to 52 blocks in there. I see a lot of 52 blocks in there. That's all I'm saying. He said, What are your thoughts on martial? Oh, he's broken down that he just came on the live, so he didn't see the breakdown of the oldest martial art. Can you say the name again? Because I can't pronounce it
Kalaripayat. Kalaripayat. See, I'll tell you what. You know judo, right? Judo is one drill in an ancient king's curriculum for his soldiers. It's a type of drill. It's not even a fighting art. That's what the Japanese got a hold of when Buddhism spread to Japan. That
Okay.
king was responsible for spreading Buddhism all around Asia. So it went with him. You understand? So
Yes.
this is not. This is just one attribute of Garuda. This is Garuda drilling, going through the opponents. See, see from here you have your 52 this stuff, right?
Oh yeah, boy. Open door, closed door.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So this is
yeah.
Garuda. This is Garuda's wing. See, if you can do this, most people cannot do this.
Yeah.
And from here, well, inward. No, like in.
Whoa, whoa.
So
So is this system comprised of kicks, punches, elbows? Is it everything? Is it every part
everything.
of the body is a weapon?
Yeah. Garuda's claws, the bird's claws. This is the wing is also the see.
Whoa,
So once
whoa.
you close the gap, it's all of this. So we do a lot of club work, Indian clubs.
Mhm.
So we get that mobility in the shoulder.
That mobility and that flexibility, yes. He said looks like skull and bones. Yes. So it's a is there a kata to this art? Is there a certain way of a
Yes.
form of doing this art?
Yeah. You have to think of a story. You have to know who Garuda is. Garuda is the vehicle of a main god called Vishnu.
Mm-hmm.
So we have stories of Garuda attacking this and going through this demon. So we become Garuda and enact destroying the demons.
Okay.
So, for example, okay, so the drill would be, like I said, it's not the ritual, it's the emotion behind the
It's the
ritual.
motion, yes.
So, okay, then I come this way. My spine is turning like, you can see my
Yes, I
spine like
see.
turn. Okay, now from here I go. See, all these are strikes, but I'm protected. As this moves, I'm again protected. In between these guards, I'm moving in. Eye gouging, throat gouging, striking with this. It's not just trying to get this all the time. It's this as well.
Mm-hmm.
These areas, temple.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
when boxing limits stuff to this area only.
Okay.
But you're 52, you got Donovan, you got the Cuban,
Yes.
all that kind of stuff.
Yes. And we had somebody said Bodhidharma inspired Zen in Japan. Is that true?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
It's a very basic concept.
Mm-hmm.
The higher concept of the highest concept is non-duality. Non-duality.
Non-dual.
Bodhidharma, yeah, as in there is no separation between God and man.
Oh, gotcha.
The Jivatma is us, and Paramatma is God. It's the same.
Gotcha. And to me, that's the part of it that makes more sense than a lot of stuff. Even in the Bible, they say man was made in God's image, making you him,
Yes,
making you God. But we separated, we're they and this is no knock on anybody who follows the Bible on this live that we are having the conversation. Um, it kind of makes you this lonely person where you're kind of like, always begging for this forgiveness. And it kind of puts you in this spot of, I don't want to say victim, but like the victim. Like life is happening to you. Like life is mad at you instead of being in harmony with life that like me and you spoke about on the phone. Can you talk about more about the harmony you have to find with life more than life is attacking you?
Yeah, you see, short-term thinking um, creates insecurities.
Okay.
Short-term thinking creates insecurities, create short-term thinkings as well. It
Okay.
goes the other way around as well. So
Okay.
fear is the main reason. Fear,
Mm.
you know, fear of money finishing, fear of food finishing, fear of wife running away, fear. Fear of losing your job. Man cannot function with fear all the time.
Mm.
Have you ever, you smoking, right? Have you ever smoked with your engine turned on in the car and your engine turned off in the car? When the engine's turned off, you're at peace so you can smoke better. But when the engine's turned on and you're smoking, you're kind of restless, right?
Yes. Yes.
So it's the same thing with life. Your seat has to be stable for you to enjoy anything you do.
Mm.
Understand? If you're always shifting and keeping yourself occupied by, it's not a sin to be alone with yourself. You don't have to be distracted all the waking hours of the day. You cannot meditate if you don't like being by yourself, being within yourself.
It's funny you say that because the brothers that go to jail, you know, and they get in trouble. The punishment is to put you by yourself. The punishment is to put you by yourself. But from what you're saying, that should be they just giving you a gift.
Well, introspection, so they don't do it again. Introspect. You need silence for introspection.
But because it's a punishment, it's a punishment because they know most people don't want to sit with themselves because then you hear yourself. You want to drown self out with all the people around you. But when they push you by yourself, all you hear is yourself, and they know since you don't, they since it's not viewed as the way you're saying it. It kind of works against you. It becomes a weapon that you
Correct.
see these guys drive themselves crazy just because they had to sit by themselves.
You see, I'll tell you one thing that people forget about religion is if everybody got their prayers, the churches would know nobody would go to church.
Mm.
Do you understand? If everybody got
Yes.
what they wish for. So what they do is make you think negative so you don't get what you want all the time. They make you think negative, they make you curse, they make you say, God damn it. What does God damn it mean? What especially if you already afraid of God, like boogeyman, the ever judging finger from above with the man with the beard. If you see God like that, if you say God damn it, you're already feeling guilty for something. So that
Yeah.
creates a negative emotion inside you.
Wow.
And in that negative emotion, you're not manifesting jack shit, I'll tell you that.
Wow.
You're not manifesting wealth, you're not manifesting anything with that kind of somebody's watching me fear. You are supposed to develop the godliness in you. You're supposed to get more and more godly as you get older, not more
Yes.
and more this way, afraid of God. You're not supposed to be like, oh, that's not at all. That's a created thing by the Romans, or Caesar, or whatever the fuck his name was, Constantine.
Very, very deep. I know you said that you teach these theories. I mean, theories. You teach this way, and how would the people on this chat find you if they wanted to reach out to you or if they wanted to
Well,
get in contact with you for some of these teachers? Like, how would they do that?
see, for me, I have maintained a very private life up to this point because my main goal is inquiry of who I am, not about reaching the world and all that. When I met you and when we spoke, I actually, when I first saw 52 blocks in prison fighting system, I did not expect the spiritual aspect to be there at all. So I was very, very, impressed when I saw there's a lot of harmony in your boxing. I don't see very harmonious boxing usually.
Thank you. Thank
You
you.
know?
Oh, that is the highest compliment, one of the highest compliments I've ever received, and especially from somebody who has your perception of energy. Yes, continue.
Yeah, the harmony. See, that comes from no lack. There's no conflict in your pugilism.
Yes. Thank you.
So,
Yes, the original art where boxing comes from, pugilism. Yes. Yes.
yes. So Wing Chun. You see, you have to go beyond your art. The individual
Yes.
must become first. Not the art.
Yes.
You're not a brand ambassador. You're your ambassador.
Yeah.
You know,
Wow.
I
Wow.
don't
So
endorse.
many people carry the banner over the man. Like so many people carry the banner of these martial arts before themselves. And I believe, like you, I've always said, it's the man before the art. The art works for the man. Like we shouldn't be bowing down to these systems. These systems are here for us. Like they serve us. We don't serve them.
Yeah. So I mean, that's what I mean. So in our culture in India, it's about the self-inquiry. Without self-inquiry, there is no self-evolution. There's no evolution.
Very true.
You know.
Uh,
So if anybody
being
wants to ask any questions about theory versus how to do it, in theory, anyone can read books and say what I said, but I actually teach you how to do it.
yes.
That is, I can arouse thought and leave. Say bye bye. Arouse thought and leave. That's how a lot of people do. Get you thinking and say bye bye. That's
Mm,
not what I do. If someone's genuinely interested, I will show them. But they have to understand that the main reason they're coming to me is because they want to come to me. I'm not pushing them. And if they're serious, then they have to be very, very unserious also about life. Because if you're too serious about life, I can't help you.
wow. Wow. Well, me and you, we're gonna have some. We're gonna be working on some things together. You're gonna see me with the guru. Like I said, 52 blocks goes to India, and we're gonna have more of these discussions because I think, you know, with the type of information you have and how you convey it, we need more of this, because like you said, America's in the, they got us upside down over here, shaking the money out of our pockets, with these upside down theories, and thus, you stay more, in a state of flux instead of quiet, like you
Yeah.
stay in the motion.
In your view, Americans have to continuously be kept stimulated, and
Yes,
someone who has to be stimulated will not ever find peace. You have to just learn to be. You shouldn't
yes,
need anything,
yes,
just to be. That's why I started off. Remember when I started off this, whatever you call it, podcast, my first one, by the way, because I
yes.
live a very private life. I said something. I said that, what did I say? Said something related to, yeah, man's biggest problem is he just cannot sit in a room and be quiet. Everything stems from that,
From
you
the
know.
quiet point, and
Yeah,
that's
and
the
I don't.
inside.
Yeah, and you know that expression, "an idle mind is a devil's workshop." Says who?
Yes.
Says who? Says the devil.
See, this is what we need. So, people, excuse me. I appreciate everybody who joined us on this live. I think what we have to do with the guru is that we have to at least invite you back at least once every week, once every 2 weeks. Me and you will work it out. But I think, just this conversation has helped me and a lot of people on this chat to also go back to the question itself over the question, the many questions we had. Now I understand what you mean by getting to a point where you're questionless. And now I get it. Is that once you question the self, you don't have to question anything else outside of yourself anymore. And that is a deep message, and I caught that. It took me a minute. It went over my head a couple of times because you're so deep. It went over my head a couple of times, but now I see what you're saying. But yes, we must bring you back for these conversations because I think the therapy will be done there. Hold on, somebody's asking something. He said, "This is great. Philosophy and spirituality are the key in martial arts." Salute, warrior. Salute. We will be back, me and the guru, Lyte Burly and the guru. We're going to keep these things going because I think they're that necessary. And sometimes you have to hear it more than once before it sinks in. You know, we have that American attention span. So we got to hear it a couple of more times before it sinks in. But the guru is with us. Like I said, me and him, we're going to be working on some projects together. Lyte Burly goes to India. 52 Blocks goes to India, and we go back and see the original martial art that gave birth to all of the arts that we know of today. So I want to thank you, Mr. Guru. I don't say Mr. Guru, the Guru, for being on this podcast and giving us the information you gave us and staying up late for it, because where he's at is later than where I'm at right now. So he's doing us all a favor by staying up late to give us this information. But we're going to plan it at different times so that way we can get a broader audience. But I appreciate everybody on the chat. As always, hands up, chin down, rumble, young man rumble.